How's it going, guys? Ryan here and welcome into Tesla stock. Their ticker on the Nasdaq is TSLA, and right now they are sitting at a value of $218.51 US. Most notably, we did see a little bit of a drop on this stock, which was as a result of the earnings actually coming out. Now, what actually occurred was a reduction in their production and sales of vehicles by about 30,000 units, which of course this news led to a drop in the value of Tesla stock as you'd typically expect, but it also created a nice little gap that you can see here. Now that gap has a higher point, I suppose, of $242 and a lower point over here on the following day, of course, at $230. Now, what we tend to see is gaps typically close. So right away, what I'm going to do is basically find the low point of this candle right here, which is on the 18th of October. It's about 242. So what I'm going to do is put a line in place there. That is going to be the short-term price target moving into the future. Now, let's see what other sort of trends we can use. I'm going to get rid of the volume here because it is in the way. Let's take a look at the bottom of this over here. Chuck in what we can see from a trend perspective, and interestingly enough, our medium-term trend is showing us that as a result of the poor earnings, we were already sitting on, I suppose, a lower end near that upwards trending line. We dropped through that support point. We also dropped through that 200-day moving average as well, but we are testing that point right now at $218 US. The first key thing will be to get some closes above that line and then try and move through, of course, the 20-day moving average at $230 and then all the way up here to our key point of resistance or our price target as well of $242, which would result in that gap being closed. Now, from a medium-term perspective, dropping out of this trend is quite concerning. And what we are seeing actually start to play out is a little bit of a channel is forming. So what I'm going to do is show you that channel right now. As you can see, we are in a downwards moving channel. We bounced off the bottom of this channel just recently and have moved back upwards, and another gap did also form itself. What I'm expecting to see is likely that we're going to either A, shoot up real quickly to that $242 mark, or alternatively we'll come down, close the gap, maybe even touch that line before moving back upwards towards this point. I cannot at this point in time foresee, unless incredible financial data comes out, us exceeding that $242 mark. Reason being, if we have had a reduction in sales and a reduction in production for Tesla, then we're going to obviously see a reduction in revenue that we would tend to expect. Now, while I bring up the RSI, it's worth noting that this was reduced due to upgrades that were occurring, which will provide efficiency in the later days. Now you can see as well, as we do bring up that RSI, we are in that oversold region quite briefly. Before then we move straight back up to right now where we're sitting at $43, or not $43, 43 points on the RSI. We're moving back upwards. We got plenty of room to move upwards towards that $242 mark, but as I say, I don't expect to see things get much higher than that overall. Let's have a look as well at the MACD. Bringing that one up, you can see that we are about to see that 12-day EMA cross above the 26-day EMA. This, in my opinion, will be a catalyst for that nice move up to that $242 mark. Some indicators coming into play. We've got the RSI supporting buying. We've got the MACD supporting buying. Of course, moving over the next, I suppose, few days, we got some buying momentum as a result, of course, of that gap right there. There are a few indicators which are showing us that we're going to move upwards from $218, but I think the fundamentals coming into play with the revenue itself will ultimately see a drop in the value of Tesla stock after that point is hit, purely because the financials aren't going to be as good due to production and sales being down. That really wraps things up for today's video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Tesla and where you think it's going down in the comments section below. Of course, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. I'll leave it there for today, guys. Hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.